Rain fell like judgment. Thunder cracked in the sky, but it was nothing compared to the sound of the gate. Bam! Ada stood there, trembling. Her wrapper clung to her body like shame. Her slippers were gone, swallowed by the gutter outside Ikota Estate. Just moments ago, she'd knocked. Gently. Hopeful. Then harder. And then Zinni appeared. Tall. Light-skinned. Painted like a Nollywood actress. Her eyes scanned Ada from head to toe. So, you're Ada? Zinni laughed. The village sponsor? Before Ada could speak, the gate swung shut in her face. She didn't scream. She didn't knock again. She just wept. There, on the wet floor, as mosquitoes circled and her heart cracked open. But you see, the gods never sleep. Even when a woman is abandoned, even when love turns to stone, the earth listens. This is not just Ada's story. This is the story of many. The story of love betrayed, and destiny rewritten. In Amuaka, a village wrapped in red dust and banana trees, Ada was known by everyone. She's the girl with fire in her bones, the elders would say. She had no father. Her mother, Mama Ejiofor, had long been confined to a raffia mat by swollen knees and failing eyes. So from the age of 13, Ada became both daughter and breadwinner. She roasted corn by the roadside, hawked akra at the village square, fetched water for neighbors at dawn, and still managed to smile. But beneath that smile was a tender place that belonged to Obinna. Obinna was different. He didn't speak like the other boys. While they talked about goats and festivals, Obinna dreamed in English, of hotels, passports, and suits. Ada, he would say, lying beside her near the stream, one day, I'll leave this place. I'll be somebody. Not just Obinna the son of Matsim Beek. Lagos will know my name. Ada would laugh. And me? He'd look at her, grin wide. You? You'll be the queen beside me. You think I'll blow and leave you in this dusty village? They had their place, a rock by the stream. There, they'd meet after evening chores. Sometimes he'd bring her mangoes. Sometimes she'd sneak him puff-puff. But always, they shared their dreams like secrets. And so it happened, one hot Tuesday morning, that Obinna came running to her stall, face bright like the morning sun. Ada. I've found a way. Lagos is calling. He explained, his cousin Ugachukwu knew someone who could get him work as a hotel steward. He just needed transport, and something to survive his first week in the city. Ada's chest tightened. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. And how will you manage, she asked, pretending to adjust the fire under her pan. He looked at her, then looked away. I don't know, he said. But I can't stay here, Ada. This village will bury me. That night, Ada sat under the dim light of a kerosene lantern. Her mother was asleep. Outside, crickets sang their sharp songs. She pulled out the old Milo tin under the mat. Inside were the dreams of many years, Naira notes folded carefully, coins she'd refused to spend, a 500 note she'd once found near the market and kept for emergency. She stared at it long and hard. Then she sighed. The next morning, she called him to their rock. Obinna arrived with a hopeful face, but guilt written in his eyes. She didn't let him speak. I know, she said softly, handing him the nylon bag. He took it slowly, almost afraid to touch it. Ada. Shoo. Just don't forget me, Obinna. Whatever you become, remember the girl who gave you her tomorrow. He swallowed hard. Ada, I swear on my mother's grave. The day I forget you, may Lagos swallow me whole. May I never know peace again. She smiled. Good. Then go. They hugged, not like children in love, but like two souls splitting from the same root. And then, he was gone. For the first few weeks, her heart beat faster every time her phone vibrated. Maybe it's him. But it was never him. Not even a "thank you." Not even a "I got there safely." The days grew slower. She began asking the village mobile recharge seller if the tower had network problems. She prayed for him at church, offered extra coins to the offering bowl. Then, came the whisper. It was Ngozi, the tailor's daughter. She had just returned from visiting her aunt in Lagos. "Obinna?" she said when Ada asked. "Oh yes, I saw him. He's shining wearing gold chain. Even driving one small car. But, he wasn't alone." Ada's voice trembled. Who was he with?" Ngozi shrugged. "One yellow girl. Makeup like film. She even called him baby." That night, Ada didn't cry. She cooked, cleaned, and laid her mother to sleep. But as she lay down, her chest ached. The kind of ache that no medicine could touch. The kind only truth brings. And she whispered into the dark. "No. Not like this. I have to see him with my own eyes." Thus began Ada's journey. Lagos. They say the city never sleeps. But for Ada, it felt like the city never cared. The bus ride from Omuaka to Lagos was long, hot, and thick with sweat and prayers. She sat between a crying baby and a woman who sold dried fish in old newspapers. No AC. No food. Just hope in her chest and a crumpled paper in her hand with an address someone had scribbled. Obinna, 14B Freedom Close, Ikota. She had sold her mother's last goat to fund the trip. Mama had asked, "Are you sure, Ada? If a man can forget a phone call, he can forget a promise." But Ada's heart was not built for maybe. It was built for love. The city hit her like a slap. Honking Danfos. Shouting hawkers. Skyscraping buildings that mocked her village eyes. She held her small bag tight and asked around, begging directions from people too busy to answer. By evening, she arrived at the gate. It was tall, painted cream, guarded by a bored security man who looked at her like dust. "I want see Obinna," she said, breathless. "Obinna? For this estate?" he scoffed. "Nah, who you be?" I'm Ada. Tell him Ada is here. Please." He hissed. "Madam, call him now. Abi na surprise?" She looked down. Her small phone had no battery. No airtime. No hope. The gate man scratched his head. "Wait." He called on the intercom. Moments passed. Then, laughter echoed from inside. The gate slowly opened, just enough for a figure to step out. She was beautiful, like someone made from cream and mirrors. Her hair was dyed gold. Her eyelashes looked like feathers. Her nails were long, red, sharp. Ada knew instantly, this was her replacement. The girl looked her up and down, nose curled. "You're Ada?" Ada nodded. "Please. I need to see Obinna." "Obinna?" she said, grinning. "You mean my Obinna? The Obinna that drives a Benz? The one you used to own in the village?" Ada's mouth opened but nothing came out. Zinni laughed. "You girls from the bush, always thinking love is enough. My dear, Lagos doesn't run on Accra and bush stories." Then, the gate slammed shut. Bam! Ada stood there for what felt like hours. The sky grew dark. The street emptied. The gate never opened again. She didn't scream. She didn't cry. She walked. Slowly. Like someone moving underwater. She walked until her slippers broke. She sat under a mango tree near a filling station. Hunger punched her stomach. Her chest burned from the weight of it all. For the first time in years, Ada wept. And the city watched, cold, bright, and silent. Somewhere nearby, a black SUV slowed down. The window rolled halfway. Inside sat a man in white native wear. Silver beard. Calm eyes. He looked at her, not with pity, but with something else. "Driver," he said. "Wait. That girl, stop by her." The mango tree was still dripping from the night rain. Mosquitoes hummed. The street lights buzzed. Ada sat on bare pavement, arms around her knees, heart heavy like soaked Gary. Her eyes were swollen, but dry now. The kind of dryness that comes after a storm. The kind that doesn't mean peace, just emptiness. She didn't notice the SUV at first. Not until the engine idled near her and the back window rolled down. A voice, deep and calm, floated out. "Young lady, are you all right?" She looked up slowly. Her throat itched, but no words came. Inside the car sat a man, perhaps in his late 60s. His face was the kind you trust without knowing why, lined, dark-skinned, with wisdom in his eyes and a quiet power behind his voice. His white agbada glowed under the moonlight. He wasn't rich in a noisy way, no gold chains or perfume, just clean, calm, complete. "Did something happen to you?" he asked gently. She blinked. Then shook her head. Silence. The driver tried to move, but the man raised a hand. "What's your name?" he asked. "Ada." "From where?" "Umuoka, in Imo State." He nodded, as if he already knew. "Come. Let me take you somewhere safe. You don't look like you belong to this street." Ada hesitated. Lagos was full of stories. Not every kind face meant well. But then he said, "If I had a daughter, I'd pray someone would stop if she looked like you do now." That was the line that broke her doubt. She stood up slowly, legs shaking, and entered the SUV. They drove in silence. She didn't ask where. She didn't care. At some point, he handed her a clean handkerchief. "Clean your face," he said. "Shame does not live here." That night, he took her to a guest chalet he owned in Surulere, simple but neat. He told the receptionist, "Give her food. Let her sleep. Tomorrow, I'll be back." The next day, true to his word, Chief Durojoyi returned. He asked for her story. She told it all. Every piece. Every sacrifice. She expected him to judge her, maybe even laugh. But he only listened. When she finished, he simply said, "You loved with your full heart. That is not weakness. That is power." Then he smiled. "Tell me, Ada, what do you want now?" She paused. I don't want pity. I want to stand again. I want to prove that being kind doesn't mean being foolish." He nodded. "Good. Then let's begin." Over the next few weeks, he gave her more than money. He gave her books. He connected her to a woman named Auntie Beezy, a caterer who owed Chief a favor. Ada started learning the business, from kitchen to client. At night, she studied recipes. During the day, she helped serve food at weddings and offices. She worked hard, like someone building a second life from scratch. She never once asked Chief for anything more. But every time he came to check on her, she greeted him with both knees on the floor, tears in her eyes. "God used you," she said once. "You are my bridge from disgrace." He smiled. "No, Ada. You are your own bridge. I just helped lay the first plank." Months passed. Ada changed. Her skin glowed again. Her eyes regained their fire. One day, Auntie Beezy handed her a business card. "You're ready," she said. "Open your own shop. You have Chief's blessing. And you've earned your name." Ada looked at the name on the card. Ada's Kitchen, taste that tells a story. "Good afternoon, Ma. Please, I want to order for 30 packs of rice, 20 packs of jollof, small chops, and, do you do asan too?" "Yes, Ma," Ada said, her voice steady. "Everything freshly made. We deliver early." It was a Saturday morning, and Ada's kitchen was buzzing. 2 girls fried puff-puff in the back. A boy was loading cooler flasks into a tricycle. The scent of peppered goat meat filled the air. And there she stood, Ada, in a clean apron and net hair cover, holding a tablet, managing calls and orders. She had come a long way from red dust and heartbreak. It had been 2 years since Lagos broke her heart. But with every steaming plate and satisfied customer, she rebuilt her confidence, brick by brick. Auntie Beezy became like an aunt. Chief Durojoye visited sometimes to check in. He never crossed boundaries. He only gave support, and watched her grow into the woman she was born to be. Once, she asked him, "Why did you help me?" He smiled. "Because you reminded me of my late wife. She was pure. But strong. The world tried to break her too, and failed. Then, one Wednesday afternoon, fate came knocking. Literally. She was delivering food for a tech company's board meeting in Lekki. The receptionist directed her to the 5th floor. As the elevator opened, she stepped out with trays of food balanced carefully, and froze. Standing by the glass office door was Obinna. Thinner. Rougher. He wore a worn blazer. His eyes had lost their shine. For a moment, they just stared. Recognition hit him first, like a slap. "Ada," he whispered. She didn't flinch. She adjusted the tray. "Good afternoon, sir. Your food delivery." His lips trembled. "Wait. What, how are you here?" Before she could speak, a young intern approached. "Madam, thank you. Please set the food on the conference table. Our boss hates delays." She moved past him without another word. Later, as she exited the building, he followed. "Ada, wait." She turned slowly. Calm. Beautiful. Unshaken. He looked desperate. "Please, can we talk?" She raised an eyebrow. "Now you want to talk?" "I was young," he stammered. "Things were hard. Zinni, she chose you," Ada interrupted. "And I'm glad she did." He blinked. "You're not angry?" She smiled. The kind of smile that holds victory. "No, Obinna. I thank you." "For what?" "For showing me that love doesn't build men, integrity does. You went up fast, and came down faster." He looked away, shame painting his face. "I lost everything," he muttered. "Zinni left when the money dried. My business partner duped me. My cousin cut me off. I'm trying to start again." She looked at him, long and deep. Then she opened her bag and brought out a small food pack. "Here. Eat. You look like someone who hasn't eaten today." He took it slowly. Then she said, gently but firmly, "Next time you meet a woman like me, don't wait to lose her before you respect her." She turned and walked away. This time, he was the one left staring. This time, he was the one who wept. It was the first Saturday of November, and the air in Lagos was golden with Harmattan light. The Women Rising Summit was in full swing at the Oriental Hotel, and the grand ballroom sparkled with sequins, geli, and high heels. Female entrepreneurs from across Nigeria gathered to celebrate resilience, success, and sisterhood. Among the honorees was Ada Ejiofor, founder of Ada's Kitchen. From street food to event catering, her name had become a quiet legend. She didn't wear lace or glitter. She wore a soft green iro and buba, with coral beads and a calm smile. When she was called to the stage, the room clapped, then stood. From a village girl with heartbreak to a businesswoman feeding Legos, the MC said, "Ada represents the fire that refuses to die." Ada took the mic, voice clear. "I was once laughed at. Rejected. Left under a mango tree like garbage. But today, I feed kings. Because pain doesn't define you, choice does." Applause shook the walls. Standing in the back, unnoticed, was Obinna. Now a Kiki rider, with oil-stained jeans and tired eyes, he had come to deliver drinks for a vendor. When he saw Ada on stage, radiant and adored, he shrank into the shadows. That night, he didn't eat. He just drove in silence, haunted by the woman he could have stood beside, if only he had believed in her. But elsewhere in the crowd, another man watched Ada with different eyes. He had just flown in from London, tall, eloquent, and sharply dressed in a black agbada. Tun Durojayi, only son of Chief Durojayi, had returned home after finishing his master's degree in business innovation. He had expected a night of polite networking. He didn't expect to be staring. After the event, as guests mingled near the buffet, he approached her gently. "Miss Ada," he said, smiling. "Your story moved me." She turned. "Thank you. I'm Tund. Chief Durojayi's son." Her eyes widened slightly. "You're Tund? Your father talks about you all the time." "Well, he talks about you too. A lot." They both laughed. Something sparked. A calmness. A recognition. "I'd love to visit your kitchen sometime," he said. "I hear it's where dreams are seasoned." Ada tilted her head. "Are you always this poetic?" "Only when the right audience is listening." She blushed, softly, for the first time in a long time. Days became weeks. Tund kept visiting. Sometimes with new kitchen equipment, sometimes with wild ideas for her business, and sometimes just to sit with her while she stirred soup. He never rushed. Never pressured. Just showed up. One day, she asked, "Why me?" He replied, "Because you're the kind of woman who doesn't wait for life to hand her gold. You dig until you strike it." And slowly, Ada's heart, scarred but strong, began to trust again. Meanwhile, Obinna watched from a distance. He heard the whispers. "Did you hear? That fine London boy Day follow Ada. She's doing well. They say he wants to propose. Obinna go cry blood. That's what village foolishness gets you." And cry, Obinna did. But silently, alone, in the same spot where she once sat, under that mango tree near the filling station. Only now, the tree gave no comfort. Lagos was blooming with color. From Suralire to Lekki, posters and whispers fluttered like confetti. Tund and Ada 2025. A love seasoned with grace. Social media couldn't get enough. Isn't that the Ada from Ada's Kitchen? The same one that started from nothing? And she's marrying Chief Durojayi's only son? Yes. That Ada. She didn't chase revenge. She didn't beg closure. She built something so beautiful that even pain stood back to admire it. Tund proposed one quiet evening at Freedom Park. No crowd. No Instagram live. Just him, her, a wooden ring box, and a suya cellar in the background. "Ada," he said, kneeling. "You are not my second chance. You're my only right choice. Marry me." She laughed through her tears. "Tund, you know I once gave a man everything, and he turned me into nothing. But I'm not asking for everything," he said. "I'm just asking for today. And then, tomorrow. She nodded. Yes. The engagement was simple but royal, Geli tall enough to scrape heaven, Owambi guests shining like daylight, food so good it silenced gossip. Chief Dorogoye stood tall beside his future daughter-in-law, proud and teary. But behind the celebration, someone else watched, bitter and burning. Obinna. He had come, uninvited, dressed in a dusty shirt and borrowed shoes. At first, he stood by the gate, pretending to be a delivery boy. Then he slipped in, clinging to corners and shadows. When Ada danced in with Tund by her side, radiant, confident, everything he never allowed her to be, something inside him cracked. He couldn't take it. Later that night, as guests ate and laughed, Ada stepped outside for air. She stood on the balcony, overlooking the quiet street. Then, a voice behind her. Ada. She turned. Obinna. Lean. Tired. Eyes full of storms. How did you get in? She asked, calmly. I had to see you. One last time. She didn't respond. The silence was her boundary. I came to say I'm sorry, he continued. For everything. For what I did. For who I wasn't. She looked at him, not with anger, not even pity, just peace. I forgave you a long time ago, Obinna. I just stopped waiting for you to deserve it. He nodded, broken. Shebi, you've won. She raised her chin. No. I didn't win. I healed. There's a difference. Then Tund stepped onto the balcony. He saw Obinna. Stiffened slightly. Ada gently placed a hand on his arm. It's all right. Obinna stepped back, eyes flicking between them, the man she had once loved, and the man who loved her right. Then he turned. And walked away. This time, for good. 2 months later, Ada stood at the altar of a small chapel in Victoria Island. The stained glass danced with light. Tund waited at the front, heart pounding. Chief Dorogoye wept like a baby. As Ada walked in, white gown simple, eyes steady, the congregation rose. Not because she looked like royalty. But because she had become it. From betrayal to beauty. From ashes to altar. She wasn't just a bride. She was a testament.